Coming up, we got an update on Zootopia 2, plus also Elemental's being a big hit on Disney Plus, and much more. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. It's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup. We're going to be talking first off about Zootopia 2. So earlier this year, at the first quarterly financial result, which was the first time that Bob Iger returned as CEO, he announced that they were going to be making a number of new films, including a new Zootopia film, a new Frozen film, and a new Toy Story film. Now, the reason for this was pretty simple. The last few films at the box office had done really badly, and therefore this was kind of a case of we're going back to basics, going back to what we know, going back to what works, and just trying to put Wall Street at ease that, you know, Disney knew what they were doing, and they were essentially going back to stuff that they knew was working. So one of them was Zootopia 2. Now, since then, we have heard nothing on this new film. Recently, while promoting the new Disney short Once Upon a Studio, one of the Disney executives spoke with the director. He went on to say, "We're all super excited about it, and it's a world that I was a part of for the first movie, and it's one of the most amazing experiences in my life, to be honest. And I know that this next one's going to take it to another level and be, as you know, as good or better than the first, so we're super excited about that project." Now, it's important to note that this film is probably going to be years away. It takes a long time to develop these films. It's not just something that just happens overnight. Obviously, as well, the strikes and stuff will have an impact, especially with regards to like voice acting, because nothing can happen with that. But they've been able to write on it and do other things because animation comes under a different category. So hopefully they've been able to kind of work on it and get the story right. And that's a key thing. I think Disney really need to get this film right. They need to get the tone right. They need to get people back on board with animation. Zootopia has been a huge hit for Disney. It was a $1 billion film at the box office. It's also spawned the Zootopia Plus short series. We've also got a brand new themed area opening up at Shanghai Disney Resort. They're bringing a new attraction into the Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on with this one. I expect it'll be a while until we get really known much more about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the brand new Zootopia film. But let us know what you think of it in the comments below. So last month, Disney released the latest Pixar film Elemental on Disney Plus, and it has been a huge success. It is the most watched film on Disney Plus for those 2 weeks that it came out, according to Nielsen. The new chart has just been released, and the film continues to be really popular, which is fantastic to see. I mean, the viewing numbers for this are so much higher than any other film right now, really showing how actually putting a film in cinemas first actually helps promote it for when it comes out on streaming, and really doesn't have that much impact on how many people watch it on streaming, even if they've seen it in cinemas. I think that's definitely something, you know, you're much more likely just to put it on if you have seen it. And it really does show, I think, that, you know, Disney are kind of going back to the idea of putting them out in cinemas. You know, we've known for a fact that they kind of made a mistake with rushing films to Disney Plus too quickly. Something I think they're going to be definitely sort of moving forward. We are going to continue to see 3 to 4 months as standard. Now, we saw a little bit something different with the Haunted Mansion film earlier this month. I suspect that was just the fact that they wanted to get it out for Halloween. Look at Indiana Jones. That one isn't out yet. I suspect that will be coming out pretty soon, but they want to try and make as much money as they can on these films. But it's great to see Elemental doing really well. Also on the Nielsen chart this week, Only Murders in the Building has continued to pull it in audiences, which is great to see. Lots of people tuning in to see that one on Hulu in the US. Obviously internationally, that is a Disney Plus original. Bluey continues again to be a huge hit for Disney. That show just keeps pulling kids in, and I think also families. Having chat with some of my friends and stuff, you know, they seem to watch it just as much as the kids. But yeah, so did you watch Elemental? It's great to see it doing really well. I'll have to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Disney's also announced that the upcoming 20th Century Studios film A Haunting in Venice is going to arrive on Disney Plus in Canada, Australia and New Zealand on Halloween on the 31st of October. No word yet if it will arrive on Hulu and on Disney Plus here in the UK on the same day. I suspect it will do. They just probably hasn't announced it as of the time of recording. So this is actually just over 45 days after the theatrical release. So it's a very quick turnaround, but it kind of makes sense. They're kind of going to want to get that boost from cinema tickets and stuff, as well as getting people to watch it over the Halloween weekend. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you going to check out Haunting in Venice when it arrives on Disney Plus and Hulu? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. We also had a great update over the weekend regarding the actors' strike, because the studios and the union are set to resume talks on Tuesday. Recently, the studios walked away from negotiations from the actors union because basically SAG wanted 2% of streaming services revenue, so basically 2% of Disney Plus, Netflix, etc. The studios were like, nope, we're not having any of that. walked away. But obviously over the last week or so, there's been a lot of pressure building on the studios, not just from the actors side, but from other unions, from Wall Street. Everyone just wanting to get this stuff fixed and get it sorted. Whether or not things get sorted out, I hope so. I mean, hopefully they can sort some of these little things out and maybe come up with a solution. Now, personally, I don't think having like a subscriber levy is a good thing. I think that's not good for us. You know, if you're subscribing to 1 or 2 to 5, 6 different streaming services, if that was $1 a year, that does add up. And I think this whole thing of, well, it's just $1, it does add up when you put all your streaming services together. I can't really see any business turning around and going, we're going to give you a percentage. But I do think that they're probably going to more likely do something along the lines of upping the bonus scheme, putting more money into it. There's going to be some kind of movement on that, I think. I think, there'll be some way of them both winning, but maybe not necessarily getting exactly what maybe SAG-AFTRA wanted. I think personally that's a little bit of a push, and I think most businesses would not be willing to give over a percentage of their earnings, because that was even before profits or before taxes or anything like that. And also that was going to then grow probably with each negotiations. Other unions are going to want into it, so I can see why the studios kind of were like, no, we're not doing this, we just can't do that. But obviously the union does need more money. People are going to need, especially those, we're not talking about the $1 million actors and stuff. They aren't really going to be affected so much. It's more your working actors and stuff, because that's the majority of people that are working now. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think they're going to resolve the actors' strike pretty soon? And our comment today, which comes from Ballet Law, which was in reference to Faraway Downs coming to Disney+, Hulu and Star Plus at the end of November. I want to say, can you watch the show without the film? The good news is, yes, you can, because the new Faraway Downs series is an extended version of the film. So it's basically, they're adding in an extra hour and they're just splitting it up into 6 separate episodes. It's going to have a different ending. So if you've not watched Australia, you can go into this series and you're just going to treat it like a series. You're not going to know any different. I actually don't know if that's going to be a bad thing at all, because you can kind of go into this just taking what this series is into account. Now, for me, I haven't seen the film in probably about 15 years. I can't really remember too much about it. So therefore, the series is going to feel quite new anyway. But obviously, if you're a fan of the film, you might be comparing it and seeing what changes and stuff. But if you've never watched Australia, you might as well give Faraway Downs a go. I wouldn't recommend watching the film before it comes out, because you're going to have the same story and stuff, and the rest of it doesn't seem a lot of point. It's a bit like, how we had the Lord of the Rings films, and then we had the Lord of the Rings extended version, which had about like an extra hour in there. Yeah, it's basically, if you haven't seen the movie, it's not going to make any difference. But nevertheless, let us know, are you going to be watching Faraway Downs when it arrives on Disney Plus and Hulu in the US? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. Remember to check out yesterday's live stream where I answered all your questions, and I'll be back tomorrow with another news update. Thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.